Love can be a beautiful thing, or it can be a nightmare. And trust me, I know. Many years ago, I was in a relationship so obsessive, it nearly broke me. So then I sat down to watch Obsession, a new horror film about a man who gets exactly what he wishes for. I couldn't help but think, this is going to be a wild ride. And let me tell you, it was. Welcome back to A Constantly Racing Mind. This is where we look at the film genres of sci-fi, horror, action-adventure, prop culture, and all things geek. And strange stories that get under your skin. Not just whether a movie is scary, but why it works, what it's saying, and how the filmmaker pulls us into it. If that's your thing, then hit subscribe, ring the bell, and stay locked in because this is my non-spoiler review of Obsession. No twist ruined, no major reveals, just to set up the experience, the craft, and whether this one deserves your attention or not. Hi, I'm Rob, and let's dive in. Before I jump in, I wanted to let you know that I'm struggling to keep my composure. I'm stuck at the crossroads of emotions. Horrified is the first one. Humored is the second one, because the film is hilarious. Humbled, in the sense that my past relationship never reached this extreme. And most of all, I am in awe. We're almost to the halfway mark of the year, and I have seen some amazing films so far in the horror category, and I've seen some really good ones and some not so good ones. However, this one takes the cake, maybe because of my experience, but I'll get into that a bit later, and definitely in the spoiler version where I can elaborate more freely. Directed by Curry Barker in his feature debut, Obsession follows Bear, a hopeless romantic played by Michael Johnston, who gets a hold of something called the One Wish Willow. His wish is simple. He wants Nikki to love him. And at first it sounds like the setup for a twisted romance or a dark fairy tale. And you can probably guess where this is going. But trust me, this isn't your typical be careful what you wish for story. The film blends horror, dark comedy, and psychological thrills, and it delivers on all three, because the film quickly turns that idea into something much uglier. Because love without choice is not love. It is control. And that is where Obsession starts to separate itself from a normal supernatural horror story. The scary part is not just the wish, it is what the wish reveals about Bear, about desire, and how easily romantic fantasy can slide into a possession. So let's get into Obsession, what works, why the performances matter, and how Curry Barker turns a simple wish into one of the more uncomfortable horror setups of the year. A quick reminder, this is my non-spoiler review. The cast is stacked with talent, including Inde Navarrette as Bear's crush, Nikki, and let me tell you, her performance is one of the best I've seen this year. Rounding out the crew, we've got Cooper Tomlinson, Barker's collaborator from their skit channel. That's a bad idea. Name of the skit channel. Megan Lawless and Andy Richter. And let's not forget Jason Blum. Yes, that Jason Blum. He's executive producing and hyping this up as the next big thing in horror, which is, as expected, as he just did the same thing with Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Here's what's wild. Obsession was made on a shoestring budget of just about $1 million, but Focus Features snapped it up for $15 million after its Toronto International Film Festival premiere in the Midnight Madness block. That's a 15x return before it even hit theaters, and the hype, it's real. Let's talk about the people behind Obsession. Director Curry Barker is a rising star. He started with a horror short film called The Chair that went viral on YouTube, and now he's making waves with his feature debut. What stands out about Obsession is how much of the film comes directly through Curry Barker's control. He wrote it, directed it, and edited it, so the movie has a tight sense of timing. Barker said he thinks about editing while he is still writing, and that helps explain why the film feels so carefully shaped. The camera is not just recording scenes, it is setting up reactions, discomfort, and release. As a writer, Barker takes a simple wish gone wrong premise and turns it into something more disturbing. Bear wants Nikki to love him, but the wish removes her choice. Barker has said the film is naturally about consent because the whole story is built around forcing someone to feel something they did not choose. That makes Bear a morally messy lead instead of a simple romantic underdog. The film also carries Barker's comedy background. He understands timing, surprise, and awkward reactions, and those tools work in horror too. The result is a movie that can make you laugh and then immediately make that laugh feel wrong. And the cinematography, handled by Taylor Clemons, is deliberately unsettling. Center composed shots with extra headspace to make you feel the loneliness and discomfort of the protagonist. Composer Rock Burwell handles the score, and Barker has said music was central to the writing process. He listened to atmospheric tonal score music while building the movie. That helps explain why Obsession feels tense even before the bigger horror moments hit. Burwell's score fits the movie well. It is moody, eerie, and atmospheric without taking over every scene. I like that the music can pull back into the silence during conversations. That makes the awkward moments feel even worse, because suddenly there is nothing between you and what the characters are saying. The sound design and score do a lot of heavy lifting. This is not a movie that only depends on what you see. A lot of the discomfort comes from what you hear. The sound design is sharp and unsettling. It helps build the space around the characters. Even when something is happening off camera, some sounds feel too close, too wet, or too real. And when Nikki's performance shifts, the audio makes it hit harder. The screams, the shrieks, and even the quieter sounds all add up to the tension. That works because Curry Barker does not cut everything to death. He lets shots sit. He gives scenes time to breathe, so the sound has room to build dread without forcing it. The sound and the rhythm are part of that trap. The cast of Obsession is small, but that works in the movie's favor. Michael Johnston plays Bear, the awkward romantic whose wish drives the story. His performance has to walk a narrow line. Bear needs to feel lonely and understandable, but not innocent. The horror comes from watching someone make a selfish choice and then struggle with what that choice creates. Inde Navarrette plays Nikki, and she looks like the performance people will talk about the most. She has to shift from grounded and believable into something darker and more intense without making the role feel silly. This transformation is, I think, one of the film's strongest elements. Almost bipolar in ways you might not understand unless you've seen it yourself. Cooper Tomlinson as Ian and Megan Lawless as Sarah help widen the movie beyond Bear and Nikki. They bring outside pressure into the story and help show that Bear's wish is not just a private mistake. Andy Richter plays Carter, adding a familiar comic presence to a horror film that already uses awkwardness and dark humor as part of its tone. Overall, this is a cast built for pressure. Johnston carries the moral unease, Navarrete carries the escalation. The supporting cast keeps the story from feeling too small. That is exactly what a low-budget horror film like this needs. Now, I've got to be honest, this movie's premise hits different for me. Like I said, I've been in an obsessive relationship before, a long time ago. It was tough, it was messy, and at the time it ended as well as it could be expected. So watching a movie about someone wishing for love and getting more than they bargained for, yeah, I related. But here's the good news. Obsession isn't just a cautionary tale. It's also a damn good time. Watching Obsession feels like watching a slow-motion disaster. You can sense where things are heading, but that does not make the tension any easier to sit through. Director Curry Barker shows strong control of suspense. The film has at least one jump scare that really works because it's built on timing, silence, and dread, not just volume. And the horror has real bite. It is not afraid to get nasty, and there are moments that push the R rating hard. Inde Navarrete is a major reason the movie works. Her performance is intense, unsettling, and hard to look away from. There are moments where it brings to mind Toni Collette's work in Hereditary. Not because the roles are the same, but because both performances feel emotionally raw and fully committed. Underneath the horror, Obsession has something sharp to say about modern romance. It twists the fantasy of being wanted into something uncomfortable. But in reality, that's not new. We are just seeing it through a 21st century lens. Very quickly, critically, Obsession is coming in strong. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 95% based on 135 reviews, with the verified audience score also at 95%. Metacritic is at 81 from 24 reviews, with 23 positive, 1 mixed, and 0 negative. So the response is not just good, it is unusually strong for a movie this nasty, weird, and uncomfortable. Overall, I think the cast and crew were excellent. The violence is nasty, but it does not feel pointless. It has impact, it has consequence, and it fits the story Barker is telling. I enjoyed Obsession immensely. Is it a 5 out of 5? No. For me, Lee Cronin's The Mummy still holds that top spot this year. But Obsession absolutely deserves your time and money, and if you are part of the Gen Z audience, this one might hit even harder. It feels built around modern loneliness, romantic fantasy, and the ugly side of wanting someone to complete you. The horror elements are legit, creepy, the comedy lands, and the psychological twist will keep you guessing. Is it perfect? No. Some of the pacing drags a bit, and the bleak tone might not be for everyone. But if you're into dark, twisted stories with a side of humor, I think this one is worth your time. So the final verdict, Obsession is a solid 4.5 out of 5. It's not a war crime against cinema, but it's definitely a war crime against your emotional stability. The performances are stellar, the direction is bold, and the story will stick with you, for better or worse. If you've seen it, drop a comment below and let me know. Did it mess you up, or was it just a fun ride? And if you're into sci-fi, horror, action, adventure, prop culture, or all things geek, hit that like button and subscribe for more reviews like this. Don't forget to check out the Intelligent Filmgoers apparel, link in the description. And in a film like this, Run P is the professional moviegoer's greatest ally in making sure you don't miss the scary parts. And until next time, keep it weird, keep it fun, and for the love of all things holy, be careful what you wish for.